Welcome to episode lesson number 19, Learn to Read with Bruce. Today's Polka Day. We're going to start out with an old Perry Como tune called Hoop-de-Doo, and I've chosen that one because of the double O unit, which we're going to be featuring in today's lesson. And it can be pronounced either or oo, and you're going to hear it pronounced both ways in the song. Kevin's going to really be rolling on those words because the song moves rather rapidly. I, in fact, have to force myself to hold myself back. So here we go. Hoop-de-doo. Hoop-de-doo, hoop-de-doo. I hear a polka and my troubles are through. Hoop-de-doo, hoop-de-dee. This kind of music is like heaven to me. Hoop-de-doo, hoop-de-doo. Has got me higher than a kite. Hand me down my soup and fish, I am gonna get my wish. Hoop-de-dooing it tonight. When there's a trombone playing, I get a thrill. I always will. When there's a concertina stretched about a mile, I always smile, 'cause that's my style. When there's a fiddle in the middle, oh, it really is a riddle how he plays a tune so sweet. Plays a tune so sweet that I could die. Lead me to the floor and hear me yell for more, 'cause I'm a hoop-de-dooing kind of guy. Now we go back up to the top, Kevin. Hoop-de-doo, hoop-de-doo. I hear a polka and my troubles are through. Hoop-de-doo, hoop-de-dee. This kind of music is like heaven to me. Skip down to the bottom. Oh, hoop-de-doo, hoop-de-doo. It's got us higher than a kite. There in clover we're in bloom. When we're dancing, give us room. Hoop-de-dooing it with all of our might. Rain may fall and snow may come. Nothing's gonna stop us from hoop-de-dooing it. Hoop-de-dooing it. Hoop-de-dooing it tonight. All right, hoop-de-doo. Let's leave it up for just a second, please. I want to point out that one unit. If you look here, in the title, Hoop-de-doo, you have and oo, which is why I chose this song, because it features both pronunciations for the double O unit. All right. And Perry Como, of course, one of those velvet-voiced crooners from the old days, came from Canonsburg, Pennsylvania. And there's a little statue of him there. Not little, but it's a statue, I think life-size, right in Canonsburg. If you're ever on I-79 near Pittsburgh, south of Pittsburgh, you can pull off there and see the statue. And don't forget to visit Sarah's Candies while you're there. They have some of the most unique tasting chocolate around. Our schools in Randolph County often sell them for fundraisers, and I've spent quite a few dollars on them over the years. So we'll move right on then to the unit song. Not quite as fast. Able, able, ack, ack, ale, ale, ain, ache, ache, and, art, art, Asian, a, can, cent, ed, e, l, n, end, ent, s, est, ick, ite, ike, il, im, ing, ip, ish, ist, o, ock, oi, old, oo, there it is, or, ound, o, ow, oi, shun, ub, All right then, our unit song, that's about the 7th, 8th, or 9th time we've done that. I hope you're either singing along or reading along at home. And I hope that by now they're very easy for you to read, because that's the point of it, to make reading a lot easier. Now, Kevin's putting us up there to lesson 19. Here we are. We only have one consonant letter today. Look at Z, like in zoo or zoological or zippity-doo-dah. And of course, here's our units. Oo, also pronounced and we have which is pretty much always, almost always 9 times out of 10. We do have some sight words. We've got animal, people, stop, and us. I'm sure people is one of our first 100 instant words. I think us was too. I'm not sure about stop. Friend, there's the end unit right in it. There's the and unit in animal, by the way. Just, out, and then came, come, and here. And I'm pretty sure all three of these are in the first 200 or first 100 of the instant words. So no real difficult sight words here. There's just a bunch that are in the story number 19. So Ed, make sure that you have them in your vocabulary before you start the story. So Z, which just sounds like zzz, okay, and oo, and okay. So with that in mind, let's read a story. Oh, I guess we could make a few words, but I'm going to skip making the words. We're going to go right to the story today. Thank you, sir. Again, I'm only going to read a chapter of the story because they're much longer now. Story number 19 is 12 chapters long. It's called The Enchanted Land Zoo. It's different. This is book number 5 that we're in now. Back that up. And as I've mentioned before, if you want the whole stories, you can get in touch with Ed via the internet. I've given you the address here on the show. And I think the last 2 books are $9 each, but you get a lot of reading practice in with them. So it's called The Enchanted Land Zoo. There's some weird-looking animals and a train. And then here's the animals again. It's called Chapter 1, The Restless Animals. And on the trash thing, it says, Borgum's Trash Buggy. That must be Borgum there. And then we have over here, Elwood's Trash Can. So I'm guessing that's Elwood. And this little guy here, his broom, I don't know if you can see it, says Breezy there. So you got Breezy, Borgum, and Elwood. On with the reading. It was the end of a cool day at the Enchanted Land Zoo. Breezy, the jumpy Verloop, Borgum, the goofy Boone, and Elwood, the shy Gulick, 3 of the zoo animals, were doing the nightly chores. Now obviously Ed's making up some new animals for us here, but the purpose of that seems to be there's that oo, oo, or oo, oo, and oo there. This was certainly a boring day, grumbled Breezy, and now it looks like it might snow. I wish we could get out of this crummy zoo for a day or 2. It's been a boring week, brooded Borgum. I have only seen 10 kids here this week. What a bummer. The picture's kind of dark there, but they're thinking back to things that happened that week at the zoo, I guess. Kids, roared Breezy. I'm sick of the noisy, snoopy kids. Day in and day out, they walk into this zoo and just stand there and look at us. I'm sick of them looking at us. I'd like to be the one doing the looking. I'm just sick of them pointing at us and cackling, mumbled Elwood. And I try to stay where they can't see me, but that makes the zookeeper angry. He yells at me and tells me that I'm in the zoo to be seen. I like to be seen by the kids, boomed Borgum, but I do not like to pick up the mess they make. Work, work, work. Are the zoo animals unhappy? I would say so. Name the 3 animals and give each one's complaint. We're not going to bother with that. Have you ever seen a zoo animal that looks like Elwood or like Breezy or like Borgum? Probably not, unless you're going to a zoo on another planet. Here's one of them looking at the book there. What we need is entertainment, said Breezy. Elwood said shyly, we could take a trip like the people in my book. They went to Germany. A trip, bellowed Borgum. How dumb. Zoo animals don't take trips. Anyway, The zookeeper wouldn't have that, said Breezy. He needs us for the sightseers and to work. Which one of the animals had the idea to take a trip? Elwood. What reasons did the other two give for not going on a trip? Well, Borgum said it was a dumb idea because they don't take trips, and Breezy said the zookeeper needs them to stay there for the sightseers and they have to work. There's a picture like we had on the opening page, the Enchanted Land Zoo train, Borgum, Breezy, and Elwood in cars. Well, mumbled Elwood, we might be able to take a short trip when things are slow at the zoo, like they are now. A short trip? A short trip, like the train trip in the Enchanted Land, Breezy said faintly. Then he started to yell. That's good, Elwood. We could take the 3-day train trip and see the sights that the kids have been seeing. The trip starts and ends right here. We would be back when more people come to the zoo to see us. What do you think the Enchanted Land might be? I don't know. I don't have a clue. It's probably explained later in the story. Wow. That's Borgum. Wow, yelled Borgum. I get it. We would be the sightseers. Right, said Elwood. It could be a very entertaining trip. One of us will have to talk to the zookeeper, said Borgum glumly. Elwood glanced down at his feet. Then he looked up and said, I'm too shy and not very good at talking. Breezy should go. Right, said Borgum. Elwood's shy, and I'd say silly things and blow it. Breezy, you are the best talker here. What do you say? Will you talk to the zookeeper? I'll go see him in the morning, said Breezy gently, and you two can talk to the rest of the animals in the zoo. They might want to go with us. What does Borgum mean when he says, Breezy, you are the best talker here? What does this page tell you about each of the zoo animals' character? What is each animal like? Well, Breezy's a good talker, Elwood's shy, and Borgum, he says he's silly. And to be a good talker means you can explain things. And that's the end of chapter 1, so we're going to end this there and go ahead and do our practice number 19. Oops. I'll let Kevin get in there, and I'll go over to the board. And our units were oo and And our consonant letter today is Z. So let's see how it goes.
Spell zoom.
Zoom. Well, there's our Z sound and our oo sound, and the ending sound was M. Zoom.
Change 2 letters to spell soon.
Soon. Well, we still have the oo, but we're going to change the beginning and the ending. So there's our oo. We want the S and the N at the end. Soon.
Spell books.
Books. One of my favorite things. B-O-O-K. Books. Hope it's getting to be one of your favorite things by now, too.
Spell gum.
Gum. We're going to our unit, and we want the G, which is the G sound.
Change 1 letter to spell sum.
Sum. Like the answer in an addition problem, we want S-U-M. Can also be spelled S-O-M-E, but that's a different word. That's like some people or something.
Add 2 letters to spell strum.
Strum, like a guitar. We got the S. We want a tr, T-R, or stra, our blend, and keep the unit there, strum.
Spell a boy's name, Zach.
Zach. We're doing review units. We want a Z, but we want a capital Z because it's a name, and go to our AC unit.
Spell zesty.
Zesty. Again, we're using the Z. It doesn't have to be capitalized this time. We want our S unit. Remember that letter at the end of the word that sounds like an E but is not an E? Y. Zesty.
Spell a religion, Zen.
Zen. Okay, it's a religion, so we again have to capitalize the Z, and we want the N unit, Zen. Sounds like the sound of 2 hands clapping, or 1 hand clapping.
Spell and put in alphabetical order come, stop, came.
Come, stop, came. These are three of our sight words. Obviously, the C is going to come first. A comes before CO, so we got came, and then come second, and stop will go down here. So there they are. Come, or came, come, and stop. Single sounds.
Write the letter of the last sound in home.
Home. Now, we have a silent letter. The last sound is the M sound. It has a silent E we don't pronounce.
Write the letter of the last sound in troop.
Troop. P. There's our P sound.
Write the letter of the first sound in zoology.
Zoology. Z. Z.
Write the letter of the first sound in groom.
Groom. G. G. G again.
Write the letter of the third sound in glancing.
Glancing. G. O. A. And if you listen carefully, you can hear that A is part of our an unit, by the way.
Write a word that rhymes with balloon. Balloon.
Balloon. Zoom. Soon is going to be our best one. Balloon. Soon. Zoom is close, but we have the N sound at the end of soon.
Write the longest word that rhymes with crumb.
The longest word that rhymes with crumb, we got gum, sum, and strum. Our longest one is strum.
Write a word that rhymes with looks.
Looks. My favorite. Books.
Write the letter of the sound that occurs 3 times in suspense.
Suspense. 3 times. S, s, s. I hear 3 S's in there. Suspense.
Write a 2-syllable word from lesson 19.
2 syllables. Zoom, soon, books, gum, some, strum, zack, zesty. There we go. Only 1 2-syllable word today. Okay, reading tip number 19. Exercise your body to build brain power. Besides crawling backward, which I talked about in lesson 1, there are many physical activities that stimulate your brain. Dance, sports, yoga, weightlifting, cheerleading, etc. Find one that interests you and try it. Get your body moving. Even just walking. Walking is good exercise. Swimming is good exercise. Anything that gets your brain going or your body going will get your brain going. I know dance, my daughter would say I should have included that under sports, but I wanted a separate category for dance. Okay. All right. Reading tip, instant words time, right? And we're doing the third group for the last time. We started these last lesson. It seemed to be caught there. Okay, thanks. So we got until, children, again, there's your N, side, feet with the E unit, car, mile, night, there's our IT unit from a lesson or 2 ago, walk, white, see, began, there's the N unit, grow with the O unit. Here's today's took with the unit, river with an for, carry, state, once, book, there's the again. Here, stop. That was one of our sight words from today's Caldwell lesson. Without, second, late, and miss. So those 25, okay? Keep practicing on them every day. Remember, a good time to practice your sight words, your instant words, is while you're watching TV every time the commercials come on. Just take a quick look, mute the sound of the commercial, look through your lists. And you'll have probably 5 or so minutes, because anymore you get 5 minutes at a time of commercials on television. Not like the old days when we only had 2 commercial breaks for a half-hour show. Now we have about 5 commercial breaks in a half-hour show. Okay, we need to do some unit searching. Okay, can you turn it to the first page?
First page?
Yeah, just the first page of the chapter is good. Thanks, Kevin. All right, so N, word in the unit. Ooh, A, N. And, ed, and, ooh, e. Here we go. This line's going to have a bunch of ooh. There's ooh, or, ooh, and, L. Because it's Elwood, not Elwood. Ooh, ick. E, ooh, and, This is an interesting word here because we actually have the oi and the ing, but you don't hear the or unit. It's just doing is that word. So be careful with that. Ite, or. Okay. So lots of the ooh ones there. All right. Be watching for the ooh and the and the Okay. And there will be a couple of pages like that at the Elkins Library. If you like to do the units, you can pick them up for free down there anytime after this lesson is aired. They're down there for the taking. Okay. Technology today, I'm just going to tell you about something you can look up on the internet if you want, or somewhere if you have access to the internet. And it's another one of these programs. It's called the Kurzweil Reader. What this is it's a computer software program whereby you can load it into your computer, and once it's in there, you can scan a page of print into your computer and it will read the print out loud for you. And in fact, if I recall, it even has a yellow highlight that goes along to each word as it's read. The drawback is this is a commercial product and it's not cheap. I don't know how much it costs now, but back when I was teaching about 5 or so years ago, maybe more years, it was about $2,000 for the program. But maybe it's cheaper now. I don't know. Most of this stuff has gone down in price. It's called Kurzweil Reader. The guy's name who invented it is Kurzweil. And he has a lot of products. You can look online. Just look up that name, capital Kurzweil. And you'll see all the products. I think it's Kurzweil Educational Products is probably the name of the company. So that's something you can check out if you want. If you have a lot of money or if you know somebody who can get you a grant or something. Okay. Time for the real life reading for today. And I'm featuring another of my favorite authors. His name is Dean Koontz. And here's a book that he wrote. Well, actually, he says his dog wrote it. This is one we used to read to the kids at the middle school. My friend Susan Morris still does, and I think Kelly probably borrows it too, Kelly Van Devender. It's called Bliss to You. It's Trixie's Guide to a Happy Life. Notice it says, by Trixie Koontz, dog as told to Dean Koontz. So Dean's telling what he says in the book is that Trixie leaves these things on the computer overnight, and then he puts them in the book. So this is the dog that changed Dean's life, by the way. He's also written another one, which is, I think, probably it might be on the bestseller list right now. It's called A Big Little Life, and it's his story of how Trixie changed his life and his wife's life. They adopted Trixie. She was a rescue dog who wasn't able to work anymore, and she just had such a huge effect on him that he often writes, he rarely writes a book now without a dog in it. I'm going to do 2 readings today. The first one's kind of a serious one. There are 8 steps to bliss, and the 7th step is called loss. It's dealing with loss. So I'm going to read you a little bit. I'm going to read you that. Then I'm going to read you some on a lighter note, some of Trixie's dog wisdom. So here we are on loss. And it's interesting because Trixie's going to quote from another of Dean's characters. In fact, it's the character that got me interested in Dean's books. The first Dean Koontz book I read was a book called Odd Thomas. The title caught my eye at the bookstore, and I read it, and now I've read every one of them. And in fact, this coming October, there's going to be a movie about the first Odd Thomas movie will come out. And Dean himself is kind of excited about that because he thinks they're doing a really good job on the movie. He's been disappointed in the past with movies that have been made of his stories, but if you go to his website, you'll see he's pretty excited about that. So I'm going to make this a little bigger here if I can. Okay, so. Am only dog, me, Trixie Koontz, so would like to quote from my human dad's book, Odd Hours, on subject. He's human, but dog too in his way, so can say maybe better than me, but with some canine wisdom. Just hope he doesn't charge me fee for quote. Okay, so that was Trixie. She's turning it over to Odd Thomas, who of course is written by Dean Koontz. Grief can destroy you or focus you. You can decide a relationship was all for nothing if it had to end in death and you alone. Or you can realize that every moment of it had more meaning than you dared to recognize at the time. So much meaning it scared you, so you just lived just took for granted the love and the laughter of each day, and didn't allow yourself to consider the sacredness of it. But when it's over and you're alone, you begin to see it wasn't just a movie and a dinner together, not just watching sunsets together, not just scrubbing a floor or washing dishes together, or worrying over a high electric bill. Instead, it was everything. It was the why of life, every event and every precious moment of it. The answer to the mystery of existence is the love you shared, sometimes so imperfectly. And when the loss wakes you to the deeper beauty of it, to the sanctity of it, you can't get off your knees for a long time. You're driven to your knees not by the weight of the loss, but by gratitude for what preceded the loss. And the ache is always there, but one day, not the emptiness, because to nurture the emptiness, to take solace in it, is to disrespect the gift of life. So that's Dean Koontz speaking through Odd Thomas through Trixie. Now, let's lighten up a little bit. Time out for some wisdom about dogs. Here's not wisdom from dog, me, Trixie. Here's wisdom about dogs said by people. My comments follow after each. There's much to learn here. Look at her smile there. That's called the golden smile, by the way. Golden retrievers have this face that they make. It just looks like a big, wide-open smile. Here's one of my favorites from one of my favorite writers. If you pick up a starving dog and make him prosperous, he will not bite you. This is the principal difference between a dog and a man. Mark Twain. Trixie says, his perfect spot for cat joke, in spirit of charity, will restrain self. I love a dog. He does nothing for political reasons. Will Rogers. And dog makes no promises it can't keep, kisses only babies it loves. That's Trixie. There is no faith which has never yet been broken except that of a truly faithful dog. Conrad Lorenz. And look how happy dogs are. Means keeping vows make you happier than breaking them. A dog is the only thing on earth that loves you more than he loves himself. Josh Billings. Dogs give unconditional love, so you will be teensy bit prepared for God's love when you die and meet him. Otherwise, God's love would knock you flat. The dog has seldom been successful in pulling man up to his level of sagacity, but man has frequently dragged the dog down to his. James Thurber. Trying to change that with my book, But Am Only Dog, still easily misled with treats or tennis ball. Dogs love company. They put it first on their short list of needs. J.R. Ackerley. After Di will be waiting for you at Rainbow Bridge. There will be enough alone to last forever. Here and in heaven, let's have fun together. You think dogs will not be in heaven? I tell you, they will be there long before any of us. Robert Louis Stevenson. And Trixie says, and we'll start putting in good word for you from the moment we arrive there. The dog was created especially for children. He is the god of frolic. Henry Ward Beecher. If you let us in your old age, we'll make you child again. Play and laughter deny time its power. Excavators digging through the volcanic ash that buried the ruins of Pompeii in AD 79 discovered a dog lying across a child, trying to protect it. The dog, whose name was Delta, wore a collar that told how he had saved the life of his owner, Severinus, 3 times. John Richard Stevens. There's nothing to make you feel better than knowing you gave all you could. And finally, people have a hard time achieving happiness in their lives. They tend to get wrapped up in their own little world. People get confused because they do not know what they need or want. And then depression sets in. Dogs do not have this problem. They know exactly what makes them happy, doing something for someone. They will do everything they can think of to please their human companions. And any signs that they have been successful make them very happy. John Richard Stevens. Live for self is boring. Every day is same wants, needs, desires. Live for others is always variety, surprise, delight. And that's some wisdom from wise people and from Trixie the Wise Dog. By the way, interesting thing about Dean Koontz, besides him being one of my favorite authors, at the end of one of his books that I read, he mentioned that he had written the entire book while listening to the music of Israel Kamakavivo Ole, whose music I've been using for our unit song for the last 7 or 8 weeks. So it's kind of funny to run across the fact that one of my favorite authors we have one of the same favorite singers. Okay. So once again, thanks to Jerry on camera and Kevin on Elmo, and to Dr. Ferris from Randolph County Schools for the use of the facility, as well as Mr. Carr and Dee Roth, whose room we're using again, Studio 204. We're going to leave today with kind of a real feel-good song. It's a John Denver song, and it's just about coming home to your family.
Dedicate this song to me.
All right, to Jerry. Is this one of your favorites? You like this? All right, we got one. Okay, so sing along if you want, Jerry. Everybody thinks of Country Roads and they think of John Denver, but I like this one better. There's a storm across the valley, clouds are rolling in. The afternoon is heavy on your shoulders. There's a truck out on the 4-lane, mile or more away. The whining of his wheels just makes it colder. He's an hour away from riding on your prayers up in the sky. And 10 days on the road are barely gone. There's a fire softly burning, supper's on the stove. It's the light in your eyes that makes him warm. And hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old farm feels like a long-lost friend. Yes, and hey, it's good to be back home again. There's all the news to tell him. How'd you spend your time? What's the latest thing the neighbors say? And your mother called last Friday. Sunshine made her cry. You felt the baby move just yesterday. And hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old farm feels like a long-lost friend. Yes, and hey, it's good to be back home again. And oh, the time that I can lay this tired old body down, feel your fingers feather soft upon me, the kisses that I live for, the love that lights my way, the happiness living with you brings me. It's the sweetest thing I know of, just spending time with you. It's the little things that make a house a home. Like a fire softly burning, supper on the stove, and the light in your eyes that makes me warm. And hey, it's good to be back home again. Sometimes this old farm feels like a long-lost friend. Yes, and hey, it's good to be back home again. Yes, and hey, it's good to be back home again. All right, so we'll see you in lesson 20 in a week or so. Happy reading.